What's going on, my brony brothers? My brony brothers, what's going on? Are you wearing a man thong? So we're talking about seditious speech. Now, obviously, the lawmakers were concerned about illegal orders, right? I think that we got to stop thinking that Trump's just trying to make the world worse. I just don't think that's the case. Look, I know that these people think ill of Trump. I get it. He's not the most likable guy in the world. But I think that my problem is the hyperbolic nature in which people respond to Trump, right? Like, I get it if you don't like him, but, you can be critical of him, that's fine. But I don't know. I don't know if is there seditious speech in what those lawmakers said? I really don't know. Truth be told. I don't think anybody really knows, because seditious speech is up to interpretation. But you could say, I guess you could make the argument that they're implying. There could be an implication there that what they're trying to say is that Trump's likely going to tell you to do something illegal, so you better not do what he says. That's a possibility. That could be implied and inferred. In which, could that be considered seditious? I don't know. Maybe. It's tough to say. Got to leave that up to interpretation. But yeah, it just depends on how you interpret it. Most people who hate Trump are going to, by default, look at that and say, oh no, it's not seditious speech. Could it be? I mean, did people really, not just look at the highlights of what those people said, but did they listen to the full accounts of what they were saying? And yeah, lawmakers are... It's interesting that lawmakers think that they have to do this. And it's interesting. It's interesting. Look, Trump is not beyond criticism. It's fine to criticize the dude. I get it. Not everything he does is right. Get that. But at the same time, to think that I don't know. I just think that they paint him as the devil so much in the media that people are convinced he's the devil. People are convinced he's Satan. And it's wild. It's wild to me. And I think that one of the reasons why I voted for Trump was I don't like the hyperbolic nature of liberals. Liberals tend to get so wound up about stupid shit. Really. Wound up. And now the reason I do this show, honestly, and this is, look, if you want to be a liberal, that's fine. I don't think liberals are really liberals anymore. I call them the regressive left. They're not the progressive left. They're the regressive. It's the party of hyperbolic people. Party of, I don't even know what the Democrat Party stands for, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, they believe in democracy. Which, fine, if you want to believe in democracy on the state level, that's fine, because that's accurate. I just wish they would stop calling it democracy on the federal level, because, well, it's not true. Is there a democratic process within each state to get a representative or a senator? Yes. But at the end of the day, all the laws that are determined on the federal level are done by those representatives and senators, right? So I think there's something here. There's something to what I'm saying. But no, I will say this though. There's a lot of hyperbolic rhetoric surrounding Trump. What it boils down to is this. I do think that the left tends to over-exaggerate a lot of stuff. And I think that's one of the reasons why I have trouble taking the left seriously, if there is such a thing. I would consider it my main problem, I guess, is I don't like socialism or communism. I'm a concepts guy. And if the party's ethos is become communism and socialism, I'm by default against that. Like, at that point, it's just I think if you believe in communism and socialism at this point, I think you're no different than somebody who believes in the flat Earth theory. Really, I'm starting to wonder, because I was thinking about it. I was like, well, how come communists and socialists aren't looked at in the same way as a flat earther? You know, because clearly, you know how we look at people who believe in flat Earth theory. There's clearly evidence to show that the Earth is round. Same goes for communism and socialism. There's enough proof throughout history to prove that stupid collectivist concepts like those don't work with humanity. Therefore, those concepts should be left on paper and not put into practice, because they just don't work. I think the thing is, human beings underestimate their ability to implement stupid ideas. Yeah. And the thing is, we see it all the time, man. I think that my problem is, I think we should look at socialists and communists the same way that we look at flat earthers. We should be like, okay. At this point, because it's like there's so much proof. There's so much proof that socialism and communism are just shit ideas, and they don't work. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be some sort of, trade-off there. But I don't know. We live in an overly accepting world of bad ideas. And it's weird. I really am shocked sometimes when I hear people say that socialism and communism works. Your name is green because you're a member of the channel. I think you were gifted a channel membership, which means that I'm going to highlight your chats because you're a member. I love highlighting the members' chats. So congratulations. You were gifted a membership. I don't know who gifted it to you. It's probably either Stroker Golf or the Major General. One or the other. It's either Major General, Tao, or Stroker Golf. But yeah, overall, it's like, I think we really should look at socialists and communists in the same way that we look at flat earthers. We should be like, okay, you do you. Leave it at that. Because it's like, at that point, it's just like, history, it's so funny because history backs me up on the whole socialism versus, basically collectivism versus individualism. I do think that you can have sort of a mix, but I do think that most systems need to favor individualism, because collectivism just puts people, you just become a cog in the machine at that point, and you don't really matter. Individuals need to feel like they actually matter. Individuals need to feel like they're significant. In communism and socialism, that just ain't happening. And then eventually, that's why most socialist and communist countries degrade, because nobody has incentive, one, to do anything. Two, because, everybody's poor because nobody does anything. There's no production. The problem is there's no production. There's no innovation in socialist and communist societies either. Zero. Like, there can be, don't get me wrong, but really, you're under the, look at China, for example. China steals most of the U.S. intellectual property, and the reason they do that is because they can't really innovate anything themselves. In America, you are free to be innovative. You have that freedom. The government can't tell you no on inventing and coming up with an idea. And for the most part, you have every right to come up with just about any idea. But yeah, no, I do think that at this point, and this is why I don't like the Democrat Party, because they've allowed socialists and communists to enter the party. They've allowed, not enter, anybody can enter a party. What I mean is to run the party, right? That's another reason why I can't vote Democrat in good conscience, because they are against everything I believe in. I'm against wholeheartedly communism and socialism. I think they're bad ideas. History proves me right. Sorry. Not sorry. And Two, I don't believe we're not a democracy at the federal level, so I'm tired of people saying we got to save our democracy. No, we got to save our republic. That's the proper terminology. If you want to say we got to save our state's democracy, yeah, sure. That's accurate. If you say that we got to save our federal democracy, that's inaccurate. We got to save our for republic. Yeah, those are democratic processes to get those people, the senators in the House of Representatives, the representatives and the senators in those positions. Yes, but it doesn't mean we're a democracy. All right, we're still a republic, and honestly, a republic is a lot better on the federal level because the U.S. is fucking big. So big, step bro. But anyway. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm out of my mind? Do you guys think I'm on the right track? Oh, yeah. Let's go, dude. Make sure you guys tap the subscribe button and tap the like button as well. It does help the channel grow in multiple ways. Damn, you're very sexy. But yeah, outside of it though, so we're a republic, but we use, it's actually kind of funny because we're still a republic, even on the, so I'll give you an example. So in each state, people vote for who their senators and their representatives will be, right? So that, in a sense, yes, that's a democratic process, but it's only for their state senators and representatives. For instance, in Oregon, I can't vote for who the senator or the representative will be in New York. That's up to New Yorkers. Oregonians, we vote for Oregon senators. We vote for Oregon representatives. See, I like it that way because if you have two senators for each state, it doesn't make it to where one state can outfist the other, right? Because here's the thing. If we had democracy on the federal level in the purest sense, California would dictate our laws because of majority rule. Now, what happens when too many people of like mind get concentrated together? They all think the same. The problem with groups of people, the problem with democracy is the mob is not always right. In fact, oftentimes the mob thinks they're right, but historically they've been wrong. I'll give you some examples. Was it the church burning the witches? That's an example. The witch burnings that happened back in the day, awful, terrible. Yeah, we're not a democracy. We're not a democracy, man. Federal level, we're just not. And if you say we are, that's inaccurate. Because if we were, we would have every single law on the federal level voted upon by the entire populace, right? This is why I hate it when this is why the arrogance that I hear of people saying, but we're a democracy. No, we're not. On the state level, sure, that's fine. Federal level, zero, no. Come on, man. Come on. Also, our founding fathers thought democracy was basically the R word. They thought it was dumb. And more power to them. They realized that democracy is not what it's cracked up to be, that a republic is better. Because if you have individuals representing your interests on the federal level, that's good. You don't want one. By the way, I know people think that they would want California to dictate the federal laws, but you don't want that. You don't want a group of people who think that they're right, but are often wrong. You just don't want that. You want discussion. You want a little bit of division. Division's good. You don't want everybody thinking the same. So I think that we're too afraid of divisive conversation. in this world. People disagree with me all the time, but I don't freak out at them because I don't want to change it. I don't really care to change their mind. I don't even care if I change your guys' mind. I just like standing here on my soapbox, talking about what I talk about. I don't care if people agree with it. I don't care if people think it makes sense. I really don't. I like debating people on it. It's fun. But I really am not overly passionate. I'm not overly hyperbolic about it. I'm a little intense. But yeah, overall, we're a republic and not much of a democracy. I don't even want the moving in my homestay. But yeah, I think that it's funny, to the republic in which it stands. To the republic in which it stands. The whole Pledge of Allegiance thing, it's like, we're a republic. Just stop it. We're on the federal level, we're a republic. That's what we are. Ergo, I don't really consider myself a conservative. I consider myself a Republican. I guess I am a Republican at the end of the day because I know that we're a republic. And I know that democracy is idiotic, at least on a massive scale. Look, when you get to the federal level on certain things, when you get to centralized power, I think it's better to have a representative republic. That just makes more sense to me. Because honestly, as much as I love the state of Oregon, let's say we had the population of California here in Oregon. Even though I'm biased and love Oregon, I would not want Oregon to dictate federal law. Ergo, if we, seriously, California holds a lot of the population. Our founding fathers realized that when people get together in groups, they think that they're right. They think they're right. There's a delusion of, well, everybody else around me believes in it, so ergo, therefore, it's correct. It's correct. It's not true, man. Not true. That's the problem with group thinking. The problem is the collective often thinks they're right, but the problem is they're usually wrong. One of the reasons, I'm going to tell you guys this, one of the reasons why I'm a decent investor is because I know the collective is often wrong. So, for example, when I see an entire index like the Vanguard Total World Index go down like 1% or 1.5% in a day, I'm buying. While everybody else is selling and panicking, I'm buying. Because I know that when I do the opposite of what everybody does, the results work in my favor. And it always does. This is one of the reasons why I'm a decent investor, is because I am contrarian. And look, I'm not contrarian to everything. I'm intelligently contrarian. I'll give you an example. People wear clothes, right? Everybody, for the most part, everybody wears clothes. Granted, I'll wear clothes. That makes sense to me. There are certain things that everybody does that make sense to me. And if it makes sense to me, I'll do it. Absolutely. You can't be contrarian to every single little thing. But there are some things, if you really take the time to think about it, you don't have to do what the collective does. Oftentimes, like I said, the collective is wrong. And I think that's important to realize. And there's a certain arrogance to the collective as well, right? When there's an arrogance to the collective, it's fun to disobey the collective, especially when they get really mad at you, right? But yeah, the group is wrong, oftentimes. That's been my experience in life, at least. Oh, it's interesting. We've had 50 viewers, man. But yeah, this is the FBI versus the lawmakers. And, under the Donald Trump era, obviously people have their concerns and blah, 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 and all that. It's just, I feel like there's just such a, like I said, a hyperbolic nature behind everybody with Trump and everything he does. I don't know. I just think that it gets to a point of exhaustion. You know what I mean? I think there's just too much freaking out about nothing, All right, let's take a look here. We're on the right track, though, you people. We're on the right track. We're on the right track, baby. I was born this way, yeah. Ooh, there ain't no other way. Baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way, yeah. Got no mustard. I ain't got no mustard, yo. I ain't doing that shit right now, right here, right now. What up, Vance? My boy, dude, Vance. I'd rather have Vance in my pants than walls on my balls. But yeah, there's a lot of hyperbolic nature surrounding Trump right now, and people freaking out about every single thing he does, right? Oh, hey, Vance, it's okay. You got to get ready for work, brother. Do your thing, my brony brother. Ain't no problem, bro. You do what you do, you boo. Appreciate you, though, brother. Appreciate you, man. Probably going to make myself some lunch here in a second. Yeah, there's a lot of Trump derangement syndrome for sure. You see that existing quite a bit. Yeah, I would say that. That's accurate. I understand, like, he is a divisive figure, but Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing. Like, when people talk about Trump, like, either people love, there's no in between with Trump. Either people love him or they hate him. Me personally, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, Trump, the man. I had known about Trump well before he was even running for president. And I think like A Billionaire was one of the most interesting books audio books I'd ever listened to. And so I just, I was thinking to myself, like, can the guy get a break a little bit? I don't think he's like, there's just this weird stigma that he's just the worst person in the world. And it's so funny to me. I don't know if I'm doing any frosting streams tonight. I'm not really feeling it. I'm not feeling the frosting tonight. I might change my mind, granted. I am bound to change my mind. So I could change, but I'm not going to get anybody's hopes up on that. I would say the probabilities are low. Have you guys seen those stupid Kalshi commercials, by the way? I keep seeing these pop up in my ads. Like, you could bet on this on Kalshi. It's like, it's so dumb, dude. I hope YouTube realize, because I hit the skip ad button every single time I see it. Right? It's the dumbest commercial. It's like, I'm not a gambler. Like, I like to trade stocks. That's about the closest thing to gambling that I do, and it's not even gambling, to be honest, because I'm actually trading well-diversified ETFs that I would hold in the long term. So there's really no gambling that I'm doing. There's obviously risk in anything that you do, but I think it's riskier to hold cash, if I'm going to be quite frank. But let's see. Markets are going up, man. This is what happens, man. That's why I hold the Vanguard Total World Index, man. Like I said, no promise on the frosting, everybody. I don't know if I'm doing frosting brows tonight. I'll consider, but no promises. But yeah, there's a lot of Donald Trump era concerns. But yeah, everybody's obviously like, with Trump, it's just, I don't know. I think people just, there is a level of derangement. Like, you just see it all the time in people's, like I said, when somebody doesn't like Trump, though, man, they just want to, they have this hatred in their eyes. I'm like, ooh. It's the weirdest thing to me. Like, I've never seen one person bring out that level of hate in somebody's eyes. Like, I'm just like, dude, come on, chill. Like, I know people don't like him. That's fine. I don't really. I think it's actually I think it's a small minority of people. I think that there are more people who like Trump than. We're just more silent about it. Sure, I mean, I go on YouTube and I'm like, oh, Trump's so sexy, yeah. But for the most part, I'm not like yelling at the top of my lungs. I'm not saying, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that like people who didn't vote for him are evil. No, I'm not saying that. Like, I don't say that. Like, hell, like, I think, like, the Democrat Party is wholly stupid. But I don't believe people are the devil for voting for Democrats. I don't. Even though I think the Democratic Party is just the worst party in the world. You know, I really do. I do think that the Democrat Party sucks. I'm not a fan of the Republican Party as it is today. But if you gave me no other choice, I would obviously go Republicans because they align a little more with their central philosophy of we're a republic and not a democracy. That alone is enough for me to be like, okay. Well, yeah, exactly, because most Democrats, they live on Twitter, they live on Blue Sky or whatever stupid medium they go on, they live on Threads, they live on Facebook. You know, it's just really just Karens at the end of the day. I mean, look, there's Karens on both sides of the aisle. I just find that a lot of them are louder on the left, you know, and it's just, that's the thing. But yeah, there's a lot of concerns, obviously, about Donald Trump, and granted, I see where people are coming from. I get that people don't like him. Fine. I just think that the extreme nature in which people go about stuff is wild. Oh, also, I want to talk about the national blackout. I think it was an economic blackout that they were proposing. Somebody was. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah, so there's going to be also a national economic blackout that was proposed on social media. I saw quite a few people, and look, I don't like to go on social media very often, but I'll check it out from time to time. And I guess there's a proposed economic. Let me see what exactly it said. Nationwide economic blackout, a boycott call November 25th to December 2nd. That's probably the worst time to do an economic blackout because obviously people are going to want to do Black Friday shit. So it says activists are organizing a week-long boycott of work and spending. I'll go figure on the work part. Calling it an economic blackout to protest the political and economic status quo. Okay. I'm actually surprised people didn't do that under Biden administration. Biden's admin was awful, dude. Let's see. Angles, like, does this actually hurt corporations or just workers? Like, I mean, you know, historical boycotts versus social media activism. I mean, like, yeah, here's the thing. I think it's going to be a very tiny amount of participants. I mean, I could be wrong. By the way, I could very well be wrong. I just think that people don't take social media activism as seriously anymore, right? I think that people are just kind of done with Facebook. I think people are, you know what I mean? I think that the only people who still use Facebook are old crotchety Karens and people that got nothing better to do with their lives, right? Sebastian, I'm not playing Arc Raiders, bro. I'm not playing Arc Raiders. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. They've heard the mainstream media call him like basically all the names in the book. Look, I call it a form of brainwashing. Like, you can dehumanize somebody very easily. And that's another way that the media has dehumanized Trump is they keep calling him a Nazi. They keep calling him Hitler. And it's no wonder why I don't trust the mainstream media because, look, is Donald Trump like a personal hero of mine? No. I like look up to him for every single thing he does? No. I think he's an interesting fella. I really do. From a historical standpoint, I'm fascinated by how he became a billionaire. It's an interesting story. Is it the typical route? No. Is it fascinating? Yes. I find that the stories of how people go from one place to another in reality more interesting than fiction, for sure. Because sometimes the most interesting stories are actually the ones that are in reality. Sometimes a Hollywood drama on a story like The Big Short, for example, can be really fun to take in, but oh. Let's see. But yeah, no, I'm not playing Arc Raiders, though. It doesn't sound like a game that I play anyway. Let's see. There's a lot of studying out there that infer a correlation with familiarity and believing it. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, man. The mainstream media constantly feed you stories. Here's the thing. You know, the mainstream media loves using Donald Trump as their devil figure because everybody needs a devil. Everybody needs a bad guy, right? So why not make Donald Trump the bad guy? Oh, yeah. No, and I don't think he's that bad. Has he done probably some shady shit in his life? Yeah, probably. Am I for it? No. But do I think he's, like, totally Hitler? This is one of the reasons why I'm against the mainstream media, is their is their ability to dehumanize somebody because they say so. Right? It's pretty easy to dehumanize somebody. It really is. It's pretty disturbing how easy it is. And when mainstream media outlets do it, I'm not a fan of it. Like, I'll give you an example. I wouldn't say I hate Joe Biden. I think he's stupid. I think he's one of the worst presidents we've ever had. But do I think he's the devil? No. Would I have wanted media coverage to say that he was? No. No. I don't believe in dehumanizing anybody. I may not like Biden, but he is still a human being, right? I don't want to dehumanize him. I do think he is one of the worst presidents of all time, but that's about the extent of it. That's about the extent of it. But yeah, I just think the mainstream media painting a narrative that Trump is like totally Hitler. It's like, ugh, gross. He's not. You can argue, you could say he's a bad president. That's probably, and look, people, how is he, even mainstream media has the right to call anybody whoever they want. I just think it's bad journalistic practice to call somebody Hitler. And I think this is one of the reasons why the mainstream media has become less and less popular, is because of how much they dehumanize and how much negative news is on there. I mean, the news has basically become a doom scroll. Seriously. That's another reason I don't like to look at the news, because it's basically like, that's actually bad for your brain. It's bad for your brain. It honestly, one of the reasons why, if you talk to anybody who reads the news or watches the news frequently, and this is something I harp on my channel quite a bit, they tend to be more pessimistic and nihilistic than anybody, right? People like me, I deliberately cut myself off from that shit, because it's like, I know the world is turning and burning and doing well, right? I know that there's always something happening, right? And even on YouTube, by the way, Mr. Arthur, I would say that I don't even like to really watch the news on YouTube. I tend to use YouTube as an educational platform, and that's about it. So at this point, like, I just, I read books on concepts. If I want to learn about events, I read history, because I think history details things a little bit better than, because when you report on something, you're getting the raw information. You're not getting the complete picture. This is why I don't like the news, is because the news often paints an incomplete picture. And there's a lot more bias in the news than there's ever been. This is why I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch any of those networks, because there's a level of political bias that's even in those. You know what I mean? So why would I? That's my thing, man. Why would I? So yeah, I'm pretty much an anti-news guy. I can't get on board with most of the shit. I just can't. I don't see why I should. I just don't think there's anything good about the news. Yeah, it's the political theater. There's more political theater, more drama than there's ever been. Which is sad, man. It's just like, what we're seeing is, I think we're seeing a decline in culture. I really do. Let's see. What is my favorite sport? I got to say basketball for sure. I'm a big basketball guy. I like to play basketball, I should say. I actually enjoy watching football more than I enjoy watching basketball these days. But I enjoy playing basketball more than I enjoy playing football, if that makes sense. Like, I love going to pick up basketball at a gym, and I'll just start playing, man. The Blood Farter.
Laugh out loud.
What up, my brony brother? Thank you, Blood Farter. I appreciate you, my brony. Use my brony boy, dude. Use my brony boy. Use my brony boy. Let's go. Let's go. Use my brony brother. Use my brony brother. Everybody is my brony brother. Thank you so much for the 99-cent donation, Blood Farter. You're the man. You're the man now, dog. No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. No, definitely more drama than truth, though, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely way more drama out there than truth. I agree with that completely. I sound like Chris Hansen, Dateline NBC. I do know that Chris Hansen is my idol. Little does E.T. know that I have the chat logs, and he fell into my Chris Hansen trap. I'm Mike Hansen, Dateline NBC. Skeet skeet mother. Oh, man. Okay, anyway. Thank you, Blood Farter. I appreciate the 99-cent in, I think, is that New Zealand? I don't know what currency that is. It says NZ, but that gets me 56 cents in chat revenue. Hell yeah. Damn, you're very sexy. I'm Mike Hansen. Little does he know that the laughing face emoji is a cover-up for what he was trying to do in meeting older men in the Michael Garza chat room. E.T., is it possible that you're trying to meet old men like myself in the chat room? I don't understand. But, yeah. So is there a national economic blackout that's going to happen? Probably. Crazily enough. It's wild, man. It's wild. No, I do got that Chris Hansen sound, though. I'll admit it. I got them Chris Hansen vibes, for sure. That's funny, man. I realized that there is some video settings that I could actually tweak on here. Could do psycho-visual tuning. I may have to go back to psycho-visual tuning on there. As you should, dude. We all love Chris Hansen. I'm Chris Hansen. I'm not Chris Hansen. But a big shout out to the Blood Farter. I appreciate the 99-cent donation. Little does the Blood Farter know. But yeah, I keep getting those stupid Kalshi ads. It's like that gambling website or whatever. I can't stand it, dude. I'm like, stop with the Kalshi ads, you it sucks so bad, dude. I think sports betting is stupid. I do sports betting, by the way. Even though I think it's dumb. I was actually thinking about just trading in my ticket, because I do have like $40 worth of tickets that I still gotta. I think once I'm done hanging out with my girlfriend at lunch, I'll probably end up going out of the casino real quick, probably grabbing myself a Diet Coke and then cashing out my, because, like, honestly, as much as I like the casino, it's just more of an effort to go down there and bring the tickets. I think I'm just better off swing trading on here. I think that's probably the smartest thing I could do is just keep swing trading. Take the cash, take the money, and run. Take that money and run. Little does everybody know that I'm bringing sexy back 24/7. Well, that's fascinating. Hold on. I gotta plug something in real quick. I gotta plug something real fast. Hold on. Not a single person has liked the stream. What is happening here? Come on, you guys. Got to give the stream a like at some point. We need a like. Somebody tap that like button. Turns me on. What's going on? Have I been wearing a juicy man thong all day long? Yeah. Yeah. Here I go now. Here I go into new days. But yeah, what do you guys think about the potential economic blackout that they're proposing on social media? You guys think people are actually? I don't think people are actually going to take part in that as much as everybody thinks. I mean, who knows? Like, I just don't think the influence of social media really matters anymore. I think most people don't give a crap. I think pretty much everybody on social media is a bot anyway. I don't think most people are on social media anymore. I think most people are more like me and just kind of don't give a shit. Like they think it's dumb. I really do think that, like, even Reddit's annoying. Like I like forums, bulletin board systems for the most part, but over the years, just Reddit kind of sucks to me. Interesting. Oh yeah. Reddit definitely leans very left. I'll say that. I don't know what it is about people on Reddit, but like it just seems like majority of them. Like I understand if some people don't like Trump, whatever. I get it, but it's a very. I do like going on there on occasion for things that are non-political related, but outside of it, though, for the most part, they're just bunch of I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. But yeah, you could say they're pretty left. It's the moderation. Yeah, moderators are probably anything that you post that's Donald Trump related, you get banned. Like I post some Donald Trump posts on Reddit just to see what would happen, and a couple of my accounts got banned. Of course, they don't know shit, so I was able to set up another account on there, but yeah, Reddit sucks. Reddit blows. Might be one of the dumbest. Like I don't have a lot of nice things to say about Reddit overall, but it could be a handy website if you need it to be. But outside of it, though, nah. He's dumb. But yeah, the whole FBI versus the lawmakers thing, man, that's been an insane situation because, they're investigating these lawmakers. I don't know. I think it's a little extreme. Here's the thing. I'll say this. I don't think the lawmakers were necessarily doing anything wrong. Do I think they have Trump derangement syndrome, or do I think that they think that Trump might be the devil? Sure, I think that's what they think. So they're just like, oh man, don't let Trump tell you to do anything illegal. Make sure that you like. I think most military members know what an unlawful order is like. They are geared to protect the Constitution, to protect the integrity of it, right? So yeah. I've already talked about crypto facts before on a previous stream. I do need to do more anti-crypto streams though, because I think I need to really hit home that crypto is grifto. I think I really got to hit that home, man. Because I don't think a lot of people understand that cryptocurrency is grifter currency. It's for creepers. It's for creepers and grifters. But, I think we're going to see what the result will be, ultimately. Looking at my fantasy football lineup real quick. Yeah, I mean, we got to, Berserk Zerg, we got to expose crypto for being a scam. Absolutely. No, the thing is, man, cryptocurrency, it really is valueless at the end of the day. And it's funny because there's new tokens and new coins coming out every day, every single day, which honestly dilutes the overall crypto market. And here's the thing. I know Bitcoin's the OG, it's the first, but I think it's the worst. Because, first off, cryptocurrencies, I like the fact that it's decentralized, sure, but I don't think it's a replacement for money. It's really just a digital collectible at the end of the day, no different than V-Bucks, in my opinion, or skins on Fortnite. Obviously, there is a decentralized versus centralized aspect. If you're buying stuff, if you're buying skins or whatever on Fortnite, it's obviously a centralized system, moderated by a company whose ethics are flexible. Now, I will say that a decentralized system, okay, that matters. I'll say that. Matters that it's decentralized, I'll get that. But at the end of the day, you're still just trading around binary code. Strings of data is all you own. When you own crypto, you are literally owning strings of data. I'll tell you what, that sounds stupid to me. Why would I? And here's the thing, man. It's all greater fool theory. The only reason people get into it is because, one, it's a multi-level marketing scheme. The only problem is it's legal. And it's very sad that our government, and I'm looking at you, Trump. I love you, bud. But you got to stop promoting crypto as valid. It's just wrong. It's because it's not. It doesn't have intrinsic value. It's not a valid investment. Hopefully more people realize this. We'll see. That's the hope. I don't know much about the Rivian company, so I know a little bit here and there. Do I think it can compete with Tesla? I mean, there's always a possibility of that. Do I know what the future of Rivian holds? No. I have zero clue on that one. No clue. So I'd be the wrong person to ask on that one. There's a lot of individual stocks that I just don't know about. And, you can't know everything. You can infer, you could figure out what the analysts are saying about it, maybe make a judgment there. Sometimes looking at what analysts say helps, but it's not the end-all be-all. I still think you should look at financial statements. I really do. But yeah, I prefer to just go the index route. I have a variety of ETFs in my portfolio, which is nice. And also a variety of individual stocks that are really good, like really solid companies, that sort of thing. I think that's one of the best ways to do it. Let's see. ET is saying they're piloting the electric Amazon delivery vans. That's kind of cool. I'll admit that's pretty neat. It's a big contract to have, man. The fact that Rivian has a contract with Amazon like that, that's huge. Probably helps their it definitely helps their profitability for sure. Berserk Zerg says, how long have you been into the stock market? It's actually a good question. I think since about 2017. I've been investing since 2017. Which honestly, it's been very fun. I enjoy investing. I really do. It's like one of the... I even like swing trading. I love swing trading ETFs as well. It's very entertaining. I like the rewards I get. I mean, obviously, I'm getting some profitability every time I swing trade the volatility of something that's very stable. There's even, by the way, there is volatility even in the most diversified ETFs. You just have to play it accordingly. And I'm a buy low, sell high kind of guy. I'm very simple. There's nothing complex about how I swing trade, and I think that's why it works so well. I have very basic philosophies, nothing crazy. But yeah, I've been in the market for a long time, man. Ooh, are the crypto markets crashing? I hope they are. Oh, snap. Crypto markets are kind of crashing right now. I'll take that. Tell me, did you sail across the sun? Or did you make it to the Milky Way to see the lights are faded? That heaven is overrated. Tell me, did you fall from a shooting star? One without a permanent scar, and then you missed me while you were looking for yourself out there. What are we talking about here? Carbon is real. What are we talking about, bro? What are you talking about, man? What is happening? Well, I think I'm going to end this particular stream. Just doesn't seem to be a lot going on, unfortunately. Crazy. I will say, swing trading the VT, though, man, that's been fun. Making a good chunk of dough doing that. It's wild. Kicking booty, man. Kicking booty. Okay, I think I see what's happening here. Hold on. So I think I figured out the formula, everybody. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I want to end the stream. I'm gonna make myself some lunch, and try to figure out a couple things. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna probably use psycho-visual tuning. That would make the stream actually look a lot better. And also probably lower it to good, I think would be good. Yeah, so I think I'm going to end the stream for now. Nobody loves the stream anymore. No, it's people do. I think people do. Well, I will be streaming a little bit later. I just want to let you guys know I'll be streaming. I'll be creaming. I'll be streaming. But I want to thank you guys for checking out this episode. We've actually been getting a lot of viewers on the short videos that we have, which has been shocking. Getting a lot, actually. So I think that might be slightly interfering with the live videos, but that's okay. Now I'm going to probably be doing a few investing live streams, so we'll probably do a little bit of an investing like Q&A and stuff like that, and see what we can answer for you. That'll be the key. Anyway, though, I will catch you all later.